In the vast cold expanse of the galaxy, a crisis was brewing that would challenge everything known to advanced civilizations. The intergalactic council chambers hummed with tension, their holographic displays flickering with increasingly dire readings. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. The quantum anomaly had first appeared near the Orion cluster, a region typically calm and predictable. Initial scans showed a disturbance that defied conventional understanding. It wasn't a typical spatial disruption or a predictable energy surge. This was different. Kirill, the lead representative from the Luminary civilization, watched the data streams with growing concern. His species had mapped stellar movements for over 10,000 years, but this phenomenon made no sense. The anomaly seemed to pulse with an unpredictable rhythm, expanding and contracting in ways that violated every known physical law. The Axiom Collective's chief scientist, a being composed of interconnected neural networks, had already run 17 million simulation scenarios. Each attempt to model the anomaly's behavior failed spectacularly. Their most advanced quantum computers produced nothing but error messages and cascading system crashes. Planetary systems along the anomaly's potential path were evacuating. Entire civilizations were preparing for potential destruction. Billions of lives hung in a delicate balance, waiting for a solution that seemed impossible to find. The Stellar Concordance had deployed their most advanced exploration vessels. These were ships equipped with technology so sophisticated that they could manipulate space-time itself. Yet, as they approached the anomaly, their systems began to malfunction. Navigation computers went blank. Communication channels dissolved into static. Sensor arrays produced incomprehensible data. What made the situation more terrifying was the anomaly's growth rate. Mathematical projections suggested it could consume an entire star system within weeks. The rate of expansion was exponential and completely unpredictable. Traditional problem-solving methods had failed. Quantum stabilization techniques developed over millennia proved useless. The most advanced species in the galaxy found themselves facing a challenge that stripped away their technological superiority and exposed their fundamental limitations. During an emergency council session, representatives from 17 different galactic civilizations argued endlessly. Some proposed massive energy bombardments. Others suggested creating artificial black holes to counteract the anomaly. Each proposal was quickly dismantled by scientific scrutiny. Hours turned into days. The tension grew. Panic started to replace scientific curiosity. For the first time in recorded galactic history, the most advanced civilizations were truly stumped. It was Kirill who first mentioned humans. At first, the suggestion was met with laughter and dismissal. Humans were considered a young, chaotic species. Their technological development was primitive compared to the gathered civilizations. They had only recently started exploring their own solar system. But as options dwindled and the anomaly continued to grow, the laughter faded. Desperation began to replace arrogance. "We have no choice," Kirill stated, his voice calm but carrying a hint of reluctance. "We must contact Earth." The irony was not lost on the council members. Centuries of technological advancement, millennia of scientific understanding, and now they were considering asking a species that had barely mastered interplanetary travel for help. Communication protocols were initiated. A message was prepared, carefully worded to maintain some semblance of dignity while essentially admitting complete failure. The transmission would travel across light years, carrying with it the hopes of millions of planetary civilizations. Nobody knew what would happen. Nobody understood the anomaly. And most importantly, nobody knew if humans could help. But they were out of options. The message arrived at the United Planetary Response Center in Geneva, Switzerland, during a routine monitoring shift. At first, the communication seemed like a technical glitch. Strange symbols and complex mathematical sequences that made no immediate sense. Jay Park, a seasoned strategic analyst, was the first to recognize something unusual. He had spent years studying potential extraterrestrial communication protocols. The incoming transmission bore markers of an authentically alien origin, something distinctly different from human communication patterns. Within hours, a specialized team was assembled. Dr. Yuna Kim, a brilliant xenobiologist, began decoding the message. Her fingers moved rapidly across holographic interfaces, breaking down complex linguistic and mathematical structures. The message was both a desperate plea and a technical challenge. The Intergalactic Council's transmission revealed more than just a request for help. It exposed the profound vulnerability of advanced civilizations. They had reached a point where their technological sophistication had become a limitation, not an advantage. Government leaders were skeptical. Military commanders viewed the message with suspicion. How could a young species like humanity possibly solve a problem that had stumped civilizations thousands of years more advanced? But the data was compelling. Detailed scans of the quantum anomaly accompanied the message, revealing its complex and dangerous nature. The anomaly wasn't just a spatial disturbance, it was a potential existential threat to multiple star systems. J. Park argued for immediate action. His presentation to the United Planetary Council was passionate and direct. "We might be our galaxy's last hope," he explained, showing complex simulations of the anomaly's potential expansion. The team selected was deliberately diverse, not just scientists, but problem solvers from various backgrounds. An engineer who had redesigned deep-sea exploration vehicles, a mathematician who specialized in chaos theory, a former military strategist known for unconventional thinking. Preparations happened quickly. Special diplomatic protocols were established. Advanced communication systems were calibrated. Specialized equipment was prepared for potential interstellar travel. Dr. Yuna Kim discovered something fascinating during her initial research. The anomaly's behavior suggested a pattern, not random, but complex beyond current understanding. It reminded her of biological systems, of adaptive networks that responded to external stimuli in unpredictable ways. Military transport vessels were modified. Standard radiation shielding was replaced with experimental quantum adaptive systems. Communication arrays were rebuilt to handle potentially incompatible alien transmission protocols. The team's psychological evaluations were rigorous. They needed individuals who could think beyond traditional scientific boundaries. People who could see solutions where others saw only problems. Hyun Lee, the lead engineer, developed a set of adaptive tools that could potentially interface with alien technology. His designs were based on principles of flexibility and rapid reconfiguration, a hallmark of human technological innovation. As the team prepared, global media caught wind of the extraordinary mission. Humanity was about to attempt something unprecedented, responding to a direct request from advanced alien civilizations to solve a cosmic crisis. The launch preparations were both methodical and intense. Every team member understood the massive responsibility they carried. This wasn't just a scientific mission, this was a potential turning point for human civilization. Days before departure, J. Park gathered his team. "We're not just representing ourselves," he told them. "We're representing our entire species. Whatever happens out there, we show them what humans can do." The transport vessel, christened Horizon 1, looked unlike any previous human spacecraft. Its design incorporated multiple technological innovations, making it a hybrid of military precision and scientific adaptability. As the countdown began, a strange mixture of excitement and tension filled the launch center. Humanity was about to step into a larger cosmic stage, with nothing but human creativity and determination as their primary tools. The message that started everything still echoed in their minds. Nobody knew what to do, so they called humans. The Horizon 1 spacecraft dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the anomaly's edge. The alien observation platforms watched with a mixture of hope and skepticism. Humans were about to attempt something no advanced civilization had managed. J. Park studied the initial sensor readings. The quantum anomaly pulsed with an almost living rhythm, defying every known scientific principle. Around them, alien monitoring ships maintained a cautious distance, their advanced systems tracking every minute movement. Dr. Yuna Kim's initial analysis revealed something unexpected. The anomaly wasn't just a spatial disturbance. It behaved more like a complex biological system. Her background in adaptive ecosystem studies gave her a unique perspective that traditional alien scientists had missed. "It's responding," she muttered, watching the holographic displays. "It's not random, it's communicating." Hyun Lee began connecting experimental equipment. His design was radical, a combination of quantum mapping technology and an adaptive interface inspired by how human immune systems respond to unknown threats. The alien scientists watched in confused silence. The first approach was deliberately unconventional. Instead of massive energy bombardments or complex mathematical interventions, the human team chose something simpler. They began sending carefully modulated signal patterns, not to destroy or contain, but to understand. Communication was key. Where advanced civilizations saw a problem to be solved through force, the humans saw a complex system to be understood. J. Park's strategy was simple: learn before acting. Alien representatives watched in disbelief. Their most advanced computational systems had failed, yet these humans were approaching the anomaly with what seemed like remarkable calm. No panic, no desperate measures. Just careful, methodical investigation. Hyun Lee's adaptive interface started, showing results. The anomaly began responding to their signal patterns. It wasn't fighting back or expanding, it was communicating. Small fluctuations suggested a form of response that no previous civilization had detected. Dr. Kim discovered something groundbreaking. The anomaly wasn't a threat. It was a communication network. Advanced alien civilizations had been trying to fight a system they didn't understand. Humans were the first to approach it as a potential intelligent entity. The team's approach was uniquely human. Where others saw a problem, they saw a puzzle. Where sophisticated alien technologies saw a threat, humans saw an opportunity for understanding. J. Park's military background proved crucial. He understood adaptation, understood that complex systems rarely respond to direct confrontation. The team's strategy was more like a diplomatic negotiation than a scientific intervention. Alien monitoring platforms began reporting strange readings. The anomaly was changing, not expanding, not contracting, but transforming. The human approach was working in ways no one had predicted. Hyun Lee's equipment started translating the anomaly's signal patterns. They weren't random mathematical sequences. They were a form of communication, complex and nuanced, something that required a different kind of thinking to understand. The Intergalactic Council watched in stunned silence. Their representatives couldn't comprehend what was happening. Humans were solving a problem that had stumped civilizations, thousands of years more advanced, through what seemed like an impossibly simple approach. Dr. Kim's final analysis was revolutionary. The anomaly wasn't a threat. It was a communication network, an ancient system designed to connect distant parts of the galaxy. Previous civilizations had been trying to fight a system meant to communicate. As hours passed, the anomaly began to stabilize, not through force but through understanding. The human team had done what no other civilization could. They had listened instead of fought. J. Park looked at his team. They had done something extraordinary, not through advanced technology, but through a uniquely human combination of curiosity, adaptability, and willingness to approach problems differently. The alien observers remained silent. Something fundamental had changed. Humanity had just demonstrated a problem-solving approach that would reshape galactic understanding forever. The transformation began slowly, almost imperceptibly. The quantum anomaly started responding to the human team's unique communication approach. Where advanced alien technologies had failed, human adaptability was succeeding. J. Park watched the holographic displays with intense concentration. The anomaly was no longer a threat. It was becoming something else entirely. A complex network of energy and information that seemed to pulse with an almost living intelligence. Dr. Yuna Kim's breakthrough came unexpectedly. She realized the anomaly wasn't just a communication network. It was a massive distributed intelligence that had been waiting for someone to understand its true nature. Previous civilizations had seen it as a problem to be solved. Humans saw it as a system to be understood. Hyun Lee's adaptive interface began capturing increasingly complex signal patterns. The equipment was designed to be flexible, to change and respond in real time. It was a perfect representation of human technological innovation, not rigid, but adaptive. The Intergalactic Council observers watched in stunned silence. Their most advanced scientific minds couldn't comprehend what was happening. The humans were doing something impossible, communicating with a phenomenon that had defeated millennia of scientific study. As the communication deepened, strange things began to happen. Nearby star systems showed unexpected stabilization. Quantum fluctuations that had threatened entire civilizations began to calm. The anomaly was transforming from a potential destroyer to something more complex. J. Park's military training proved crucial. He understood that communication was more than just exchanging information. It was about finding common ground, about understanding the underlying motivations. The team approached the anomaly like a complex diplomatic negotiation. They were down. Alien scientists were bewildered. Their approach had always been to categorize, to analyze, to control. The human approach was different. Curious, adaptive, willing to accept that they might not understand everything immediately. Dr. Kim discovered that the anomaly was actually a massive information network, something like a galactic communication system that had been dormant for millions of years. Previous civilizations had tried to destroy what they couldn't understand. Humans were the first to truly listen. Hyun Lee's equipment began translating more complex patterns. The anomaly wasn't just communicating, it was sharing information. Ancient knowledge, complex scientific understanding that had been lost for millennia, began to flow through their systems. The transformation accelerated. What had started as a potential galactic threat was becoming a source of unprecedented knowledge. The human team had done what no other civilization could. They had turned a potential destruction into an opportunity for understanding. Alien representatives watched in disbelief. Their most advanced computational systems had failed where human curiosity and adaptability were succeeding. It was a humbling moment for civilizations that had considered themselves technologically superior. J. Park understood the deeper significance. This wasn't just about solving a scientific problem. This was about a fundamentally different approach to understanding the universe, one based on communication, adaptability, and genuine curiosity. The quantum anomaly began to stabilize in ways no one had predicted. Instead of collapsing or expanding, it was reorganizing itself. It was becoming a resource, a network, a connection point for distant parts of the galaxy. Dr. Kim's final analysis was revolutionary. The anomaly was a remnant of an ancient galactic communication network, something that had been waiting for a species capable of understanding its true nature. Humans had proven to be that species. As the transformation continued, the implications became clear. This wasn't just a scientific breakthrough. This was a moment that would reshape humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. Hyun Lee's adaptive interface captured the final transformation. The anomaly was no longer a threat. It had become a bridge, a connection point that could potentially link distant parts of the galaxy in ways never before imagined. J. Park looked at his team. They had done something extraordinary. Not through advanced technology, but through a uniquely human combination of curiosity, adaptability, and willingness to approach problems differently. The universe, it seemed, had been waiting for humans to arrive. The Intergalactic Council chamber fell silent as the final reports were presented. Humanity had done the impossible. A species barely decades into space exploration had solved a problem that had stumped civilizations thousands of years more advanced. Kirill, the lead representative, found himself struggling with emotions he hadn't experienced in centuries. Respect, humility, wonder. The human team had completely transformed their understanding of problem-solving and interstellar communication. J. Park stood at the center of the council chamber, surprisingly calm. Behind him, Dr. Yoona Kim and Hyun Lee waited, representing the team that had changed everything. Their achievement wasn't just a scientific breakthrough, It was a fundamental shift in galactic understanding. The quantum anomaly was now a stable communication network. What had once threatened to destroy entire star systems was now a resource that could connect distant civilizations, and humans had been the key to unlocking its potential. Diplomatic negotiations happened quickly. The Intergalactic Council recognized that humans brought something unique to the galactic stage, a combination of adaptability, creativity, and willingness to approach problems unconventionally that no other civilization possessed. Wu Choi, the team's diplomatic expert, negotiated terms that would reshape humanity's future. Technological exchanges, scientific collaborations, and unprecedented access to galactic resources became part of the agreement. Humans were no longer just observers. They were active participants in galactic civilization. The quantum communication network revealed ancient knowledge, lost scientific principles, forgotten technological innovations, complex ecological systems, all became accessible. Humanity had accidentally become the key to unlocking millennia of lost information. News spread quickly across human settlements. Earth celebrated a victory that went beyond scientific achievement. This was a moment that redefined humanity's potential. They had proven themselves on a galactic stage, not through military might, but through understanding and communication. Dr. Kim's research teams began investigating the newly discovered network. Each discovery opened up more questions. The anomaly wasn't just a communication system, it was a living, adaptive network that seemed to respond to intelligent interaction. Hyun Lee's adaptive technologies became the foundation for a new approach to interstellar communication. Other civilizations began studying human technological designs, recognizing their unique flexibility and potential. The economic implications were staggering. Access to the communication network meant unprecedented technological and scientific exchanges. Entire industries would be transformed. Space exploration would enter a completely new era. J. Park was awarded the highest diplomatic recognition in galactic history. But he remained humble, understanding that their achievement was a team effort, a representation of human potential rather than individual brilliance. Political leaders on Earth struggled to comprehend the full impact. Humanity had gone from a small, potentially insignificant species to a critical player in galactic affairs in a matter of weeks. The geopolitical landscape would never be the same. The quantum communication network continued to reveal surprises. Ancient civilizations long thought extinct became accessible. Scientific principles that had been lost for millions of years emerged. Humanity had become the key to unlocking galactic history. Alien civilizations began to see humans differently. No longer were they a young, potentially volatile species. They were now recognized as adaptable, innovative problem solvers with a unique approach to understanding complex systems. Educational institutions across human settlements began developing new courses. Xenocommunication, adaptive problem solving, and interstellar diplomacy became critical fields of study. The human approach was now being systematically analyzed and taught. The Intergalactic Council established a permanent human representation. For the first time, a species was being welcomed not just as a member, but as a critical strategic partner. J. Park's team became legendary. Their approach, combining scientific rigor with human creativity, became a model for problem solving across civilizations. As the celebrations continued, one thing became clear. Humanity had changed forever. No longer confined to a single planet, they had proven their potential on a galactic stage. The universe, it seemed, had been waiting for humans to arrive.